Welcome to Bellwether's BPM solution. Whether you simply want to track requests and approvals or take it through the entire process and create your POs and track your received items and match invoicing, as well as even some inventory, BPM is a solution for you. We start off here in our dashboard where users can see orders waiting approval, any open recs or POs, and you can even have some budgeting charts here. So let's begin with our requisitions. We're going to come over here into our requisition screen, and this is going to show me everything that I have created and where it is in the process. Now, there's a couple different ways we can create recs. One is from our new order tab, coming into the items field and simply typing in what you're looking for. Think of this as your own personal catalog that you can always add to. So I'm going to choose this Dell in-one printer, and you'll notice the vendor populates as well as the GL code. We could tie those to the items field, less information for the users to fill out. We'll put in a delivery date as well as ship to address and the quantity. Now the middle fields here, these are custom fields, no extra charge. You can put as many in as you like for that information that you want to track. Now these could be freeform or drop-down fields. And you can even put budgets on each one of them, showing you what's accumulated, pending, and what you budgeted for. And you can also have budgets on GL code fields. So let's add that one to the order. Now, another way to put an item on here, if you don't find it in the catalog, put it on as a one-time item. So we can just put in the item, maybe a quick description. How many of them do you want? And the unit of measure. These will all be pre-populated for you. And then the rate. Now, what's nice about a requisition is I can change the vendor on this line to say a completely different vendor, give it a different delivery date, as well as GL code, and even any of the custom fields. And then I simply add it to the order. So there's my two line items. I can put internal notes on here, as well as any notes that maybe I want to be copied over to the PO, any attachments, and also any freight discount and taxes. And then I simply come up top, submit it. The system gives it a requisition number, and it lets you know that it's pending approval. The system will automatically route it on to the appropriate approvers. Another way to create a rec is from what we call punch out. Now, these would be online vendors, and we do connect with many. You'd come into your vendor field, choose your vendor, and click vendor website. This is now going to punch you out onto your account on their website. And then your users shop as they normally do, putting items in their carts. We'll add a couple more here. And then when they're finished, they have their cart subtotal. All they do is submit items for approval. What it's doing is pulling all the items out of the cart, and it creates the line items here for you. Now, all you have to fill out is a delivery date and where it's going to be shipped to. GL accounts doesn't have to be a mandatory field if you don't want it to. And then any of your custom fields here. Now, each line could have its own information as far as GL codes and your custom fields. You could change those. They don't all have to be the same. And then again, any attachments, internal notes, purchase order notes, and any freight and taxes. And then we'll go ahead and save that. It creates the requisition number and routes it on for approval. Now, one way to view your approvers is your approvers get notifications like this. It lets them know who created something, how many line items need approval, the total, who submitted it. And if there's only one vendor, the vendor will show, but since I did one with two vendors, it's going to leave that as blank. From your email, you can do what we call an auto approve. So it'll give you the line item detail and the price. If that's all you need, you can simply hit approve order and you're finished without ever having to log in. If you do want to see more information, what you're going to do is see right here that you have approvals, come into your approval screen. And up top here, you can see that each line has more information. So a second way to view this is from this screen. Now you could also open it up by hitting View Requisition. This gives you more more information about the budgets. So here, it color codes it as accumulated, pending, and what you allocated. And you'll notice right here, this one tells me I'm over budget. That signifies to the approver they need to really make a decision as to whether they want to approve that line item request. Also, if there's any notes or attachments, it'll be on here as well. And then when they're ready to approve it, all they have to do is come back here and click on the requisition up top here, and it'll click out the lines, hit approve. Now, you can reject items and send messages back with them to let the requester know why it was rejected. Our next step after the approver would be creating the purchase order now from the approved requisition. Now, this could go back to your approvers or have a designated person. In either instance, whoever is going to be doing the PO will be getting a notification the requisition was approved. They'll come into their purchase orders tab here. This tab will contain all requisitions that have been approved. So nothing will hit the screen if it hasn't been approved. So I'm going to take this first one here and check it off. Now, if I do have any more for Dell, I can combine them all on one and send one PO. So anything that is checked off on this screen, when you create the PO, will then bring all the detail over here. And at this point, you can save it if it doesn't have to go out, or save and send it directly through Bellwether. Your contact informations will already be in place, and you'll just send it, and then you'll get your confirmation from the vendor that they have received it. Now, in the case of the punch-out requisition that I did with Amazon, let's come down the bottom here, and let's grab one of those. Amazon one's right there. Again, you can combine them. Now, what I'm going to do with this is same thing, create the PO from punch-out. It has my line item that I highlighted, and I'm going to save and push this out. And you'll notice I got a little error, the ship to line. It will actually let you know if there's anything missing within that requisition so that you can actually go ahead and make sure everything is filled out. So we'll just go ahead and put another date in there. And then we'll save and push it out and send it. And you'll get your confirmation from that online vendor. So now that all your POs are out, we want to track when the items come in that are received. So whoever you're going to designate as a receiver is going to come into the receiving screen. Now, we do have filters, so you could use any of the filters to pull up the exact information you want. But on this screen, it's going to show you everything that is still outstanding on your POs. Now, when you do get your items in, you can simply come into the PO and check off that you did get it. You'll want to check this number right here to make sure that that's what you are receiving. And you can always change that too. You can do partial or full orders and then come up top and receive it. Now, if you do require your folks to put in, maybe a copy of the packing slip or packing slip number or any notes, they can do that as they're receiving the PO itself. And also, as I mentioned, partial. So like this one here, originally I ordered 5, but I only got 3 in. This remaining 2 is going to stay out here until I get it in and close it out. Or you could close them out. Also, anything overdue, you could jump right into your overdue screen, and right here it shows me everything that has been overdue, what vendors I need to contact, and the items that I'm still waiting on. Now, your receiving screen plays another part. It also has the ability to track your inventory too. When we set up your inventory file, if any inventory items appear on a PO, when you're receiving them, you'll notice you can get a little box like this. So when you receive the item in, you'll click on the item here, make sure that's the amount you received, and then you'll have a drop-down list of all your locations for inventory that you can check off and then put it into inventory at the same time. And one other aspect of the receiving screen is it plays a big part for your invoices. And I'll use this line as an example here. So originally I ordered 5 and then I got 3 in. So the invoice that I got the first time should reflect 3. And then when I get these remaining 2 in, the invoice should reflect 2. So your receiving screen helps you out with partial and full orders, keeping track of what's overdue, putting items into inventory, as well as setting you up for your invoices. So let's go over to our invoices. Now, when you get your invoices in, you're going to come into the invoice screen, and you'll notice you have match invoice buttons here. Anything like this Camping World, that means I haven't received anything on it, so I should not be getting an invoice. Let's grab this invoice here. So I'm going to have an invoice for this PO number. I'm going to click Match Invoice. It's going to show me the PO number right here. And then on the right-hand side, it's going to show me what I owe the vendor based on the order lines here. That's what I received. That's what I should be paying for. Now, you do have the ability to put an invoice number in if you want, as well as a date. Or even if you paid it on a credit card, you could check that off, and you can also attach a copy of the invoice. Now, if you do need to make any changes, you'll do it here. Like if you need to change a GL code or any of your custom fields, you'll want to do this before saving it. And then you'll just submit, pull your next invoice up. Now, at the end of the day, what you could do is push that information over. Now, we do have a direct connector to QuickBooks Online as well as QuickBooks Desktop, and we do have an API for other systems. So in the instance of QuickBooks Online and Desktop, I'm actually going to come into Integrations, choose my QuickBooks, and then I'm going to send my invoices over. So it'll send the invoice data over, and then you'll pay your bills as you normally do. And again, our connector with QuickBooks Desktop as well as online, and we do have an API that will be available so that you can pull any other invoice data into other accounting systems. Let's take a look at our inventory. As I mentioned, when you receive, you can put items into inventory. So you'll have your inventory name, descriptions, locations here, quantity on hand, and you can set minimum and maximum levels and get alerts when you're running low. You can also run reorder reports. So you can simply come in here and check off the items that you need to reorder along with your amounts that you want to reorder. We do suggest amounts, but you can always change these. And then create your requisition. So there's the line. Fill in the rest of your information and then send that request over for approval and then create your PO. Now, when you want to take items out of inventory, you're going to come into your inventory transaction and choose whether to issue it out, or you could move it from one location to another. So let's issue one out. We'll say what the item is. How many do you want to move out? And now you can say where you issued, whether this is a project or to a person. This way you can track when you take items out, where did they go, and complete that transaction. And you'll always have a transaction history report here of what's been going on within your inventory. Now, within the system, you can set budgets, run reports. We have reports built in at the requisition level here. We also have reports at the PO level, and we have a report writer built into the system. So we'll teach you how to do reports, save them here, and then edit and run them whenever you want and extract them out of Bellwether. Now, built within the system, we do have little need help buttons. I'll show you here on requisitions. Now, we can do a full implementation for you where we set the entire setup and train everyone and also record those trainings. But built into the system, we have little need help buttons that can walk you through every single screen, as well as we have verbiage here. And also up here in the top right, you have a training videos that you can always access as well as your recorded ones. And when you're in a live state with your site, you also have a full support team that you can contact by phone or right here in this system. So we hope you've enjoyed this video, and definitely if you're interested in learning more about our BPM solution, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.